Chapter 1 The Clown Killer. That was his name we gave him. There were so many names that we called him. Smile of Death, the Smiling Reaper and more. He was insane, paranoid man. He killed so many innocent people on his rampage. May he burn in hell for things he did. I was working with the Clown Killer case. We searched everywhere for one man. We tried to find relatives like a brother or sister of his, someone who was close to him. We found someone, his brother. We asked the CIA to locate him. It was going to take a couple of days or months or longer. Hopefully it's not that long. I walked home from work. Just about to the door of my house, I got a call, and it was Mark, my coworker. He called about a murder, which just happened about an hour ago. The first thing that went into my head was the Clown Killer. I got a taxi fast. When I got there, I saw a body bag go past me. I stopped them to take a look at the body. They opened it up. There was a blooded body with open cut wounds, gashing out blood. The right eye of the victim was gone. The body was dumped there. Mark said to me. He approached me from behind. "How do you know?" I said. "The killer couldn't have taken out that eye without seeing him or hearing the screams of the victims," said Mark. "Get photos of the crime scene, for me," I said. Mark got his camera and started taking photos. I went back to my apartment, to get some rest. My apartment had photos and old case files from killers that escaped us or are now dead. I cleaned my bed off, pushing the old case files a bit. I lay down on my bed. I thought to myself, I'm not going to let him get away. It was the morning, couldn't sleep at all. I went to work to see the photos that Mark took last night. I saw Mark standing by the coffee machine having a cup of coffee. I asked him if the photos had ready for me. He said, "Yeah, it's waiting on your desk." Also, we had one more murder, right by Main Street. I was going to call you but I thought it was too late. I went to office to see the photos. I picked up the file with the photos in. In it were 12 photos, 6 of which were the area and the other with a dead body. It showed all the wounds and all the bloody details. The left hand was broken with missing fingers and the right eye was gone. The 2 other photos were the second murder. The jaw of the victim was ripped off and tongue was sewing onto the head. His heart was ripped out and the fingers were gone. I could have thrown up after seeing the photos. Under the file was a letter. It had no name. I opened it. It said, "Hello. Meet me at 11 p.m. tonight at River Lane Street behind the closed-down barber shop. I will show you where the person you are after is at. Make sure no one is following you." I didn't know what to do. Should I trust it or not? I was going to do it and hopefully it will get me one step closer to the Clown Killer. It was 11:09 when I arrived. I looked down at the letter in my hand, to make sure that I was at the right place. "I thought you would never come. You were brave to risk your life by trusting a strange letter." Someone said. "Who are you?" "You'll find out soon." Now about what I said I would give you. Here are the files that you will need. I grabbed the files, then I looked down at it and then looked up and he was gone. It was dark and dangerous with a killer on the loose. Chapter 2 I got a call from the CIA. They found the killer's brother and where he is living. I was in luck. I got on a plane and went there to meet him and hopefully I can get one step close to catching him. When I got there I saw an old house. The grass wasn't cut in ages. I knocked on the door. No replay. I knocked on it again. No replay. I tested the door and it opened up. I hope nothing happened to him. I shouted, "Hello," 2 times. I looked around. I saw blood on the floor. I followed the trail of blood. Then I saw it, a body hanging from the roof. It was his brother. His legs were chopped up and his guts were hanging out. It was a mess. There was a note under the pail of guts and blood on the floor. The note said, "I'm right behind you." I was frozen hoping that he wasn't. When I said one step closer I didn't mean this close. I slowly turned my head to back of me. I could see him. He was in the shadows just looking at me. "You killed your own brother," I said. He started walking away. I ran after him. I ran to the top of the house. I couldn't see him. I looked around the house. I came across a room, dusty old room. There was a diary on the table. I opened it. The diary belonged to John G. Gilmore. It was the killer's name. I read it. It was disturbing. He lived a bad life, no wonder he does it. He was bullied at school. His 2 parents were murdered in front of him. I felt sorry for him. It was time to get out of this house. I heard footsteps coming upstairs. It was him. I hid in a cupboard. I left the door half open, so I can see. He opened the and saw his old diary on the floor. I think he guessed that I've read it. He walked away with the diary in his hand. I had to get out quietly. When I got out of the house, I had to get back to my apartment and call Mark and tell him about what happened today. Chapter 3. When I got to my apartment, I got to my phone and called Mark. Mark, the killer's brother is dead. He knew I was coming. I said, "How are we going to find him now?" Mark replied, "I ran into the killer and I know his name now and his background." I said, "How did to survive?" Mark said, "I don't know." I said, "Come speak to me when you get a chance." I looked out my window. I saw a strange man standing looking straight at me. I waved. The strange man did nothing back. He kept on looking at me. I couldn't see his face. He was getting something out of his pocket. It was a gun. He pointed it at me. I ducked under my table. A bullet fired through my window. Glass was everywhere. My hands were cut. I had to get out of my apartment fast. I ran to my door and all of a sudden I was pushed back into my apartment. I looked up. It was the clown killer. He walked towards me and grabbed me by the neck and threw me at my shelf. I was covered in blood. I saw my gun lying on the floor. I grabbed it quickly, then pointed it at the clown killer and shoot him in the head. It was over. I got him. I put my gun on the floor, then looked back at the body. Crawled up to the body and looked at it closely. Suddenly it grabbed me and pushed me to the wall. He was alive. The clown killer is still alive. He said to me, "I can never die," and then he ran away bleeding and left me lying there with a broken back. I thought I got him, but I didn't. What is it going to take to kill the man forever?